There's the tile. It doesn't look nearly as heavy as it is, but it was actually very heavy. I just got some tile for free. I got it in this little neighborhood in Eureka, and I had to drive up the scariest driveway. I actually had to back in so I could load the tile into my trunk. Do you hear that rattling? That's the tile. Check out the neighborhood I'm in. For the people's privacy, I'm not going to show you the house where I got the tile, but as you can see, all of these houses have very steep driveways, some more steep than others, and we're off of this narrow winding road that actually goes by the golf course. That's a golf course over there. So I drove into this neighborhood and got some used tile. Probably something they pulled out when they were remodeling their very, very nice house. There's a nice view of the golf course. I'll show you the tile when I park. I have to wash my hands. It's used tile. So it's covered in like grout and stuff like that. Dirt, spiders. I was like shaking spiders off of this tile into these people's driveway as I was loading it into my trunk, barehanded, about 4 to 6 tiles at a time, because this tile is almost like brick. It's red and it's a rough textured tile and it's heavy. And if I'd known that there was that much of it, or that it was going to be that heavy, I would have brought my boyfriend and some pairs of gloves. The powdered grout is like in my eyes and stuff. I'm not even going to put my sunglasses on because then it'll be on my sunglasses. I'm just going to find a restaurant or something, some kind of business where I can wash my hands immediately. I'm home. I just parked my car. I took off my seatbelt, but I haven't turned off the car yet. People, I have to tell you what happened to me after I loaded that tile into my car. It was a little bit too heavy for me, and I kind of strained myself. So I was feeling like my arms were a little bit shaky, and my fingers were getting like numb and tingly. So I said that I would get food on the way home, and I was going to stop at a restaurant or something, but I started feeling like really shaky, so I ended up stopping at Winco, and I've only shopped at Winco like twice in the last few years, and I went into Winco, I used their bathroom, I washed my hands, and then I remembered they had beef that was really cheap. I remembered some carne asada I'd seen, so I went to the meat section, and the carne asada was on sale, and as I leaned over to get it out of the cooler, I remembered why I don't like shopping at Winco. Their meat department is extremely cold. It's like the coldest of any grocery store I ever have been in, and I started like shivering immediately when I reached to get the carne asada. And then my nose felt cold. My breasts started to feel like they were freezing cold, like up in here, because it's like this open cooler that you lean over, not one you open doors to. And then my ears got cold, my neck got cold, my fingertips got cold, and I couldn't get out of the meat department fast enough. So I walked to the front of the store, and I was still shivering. I just felt freezing. I paid for my meat and the few vegetables I bought. Then I went to my car, and I know I sound really out of it right now. I probably sounded worse a minute ago before I stopped to get this coffee at a drive-up coffee house. I started feeling like I was going to faint as I drove home. I was having a hard time keeping my eyes open. I felt like I was fainting, starting to fade out, almost like I was going to fall asleep at the wheel. So I almost had to park on the side of the highway and lay down in my car for a minute because I literally could not keep aware and keep my eyes open. I eventually pulled off and pulled into a drive-up coffee house, and as I was waiting in the line, I was like leaning back like this, and I was like kind of gasping for breath. I was having a hard time breathing fully. I felt like my heart was racing, and I kept feeling my lips and my nose, and it just felt cold. My nose actually still feels cold. It feels like when you go outside on a winter day and you're not wearing anything over your nose or your ears and they get cold. Well, my ears are really cold. The other place that gets cold easily and doesn't warm up is this like little spot on the back of my neck. For some reason, it's always colder there than the rest of my body. And if I get even a little bit cold, it gets really cold right there. I've been having hot and cold flashes caused by my pregnancy, but they're not just hot and cold flashes that come out of nowhere. Any little thing that makes me feel a little bit warm will suddenly make me feel like I'm overheating. Like if I walk by the oven or the dryer, I'll feel like I just came out of a sauna. I'll start pouring sweat, turning red, everything that would happen if you got overheated. And it's worse with getting cold. I've had to go outside wearing a winter jacket on days when other people are wearing short sleeve shirts because the slightest little breeze will make me start to shiver so badly that it's like as though I'm getting hypothermic. And I'll have to lay down in bed wrapped in a blanket or sit down in front of a heater to get warm, and it takes like an hour, and I have gotten this instant wave of absolute exhaustion that causes me basically to fall asleep after getting cold like a few times a week for the last few months. It is somehow a side effect of being pregnant. I don't know exactly why I'm having it. I think it has to do with my circulation somehow, because my veins also do abnormal things. I get short of breath, but I've had several tests done on my lungs, and they've told me that it's not a lung problem, that my heartbeat is irregular, and my heart is the limiting factor, and that's why I get short of breath. But the cardiologist said my tests were normal. I'm supposed to go in and see him. I actually missed my appointment with him because I was having one of these episodes. I literally laid down in bed and did not wake up, and nobody could wake me up for 2 hours or so when I was supposed to be going to the cardiologist, so I have to reschedule. This was like the absolute worst episode I've had so far. Like I said, I was considering like parking my car in the shoulder on the side of the freeway just so I wouldn't pass out while driving. And I feel better after drinking this really hot coffee with caffeine in it, but I don't feel recovered. I still feel like my forehead's cold, my nose is cold, my lips are cold, my ears are cold, my neck is cold. I basically feel like I've been out in the cold and haven't warmed up yet. And it's been like 30 minutes since I left Winco. I actually feel like a chill down my spine. That's why I'm still sitting in my car, because I've got the air on, not on heat, but just on like air that's not air conditioning. I guess it's turned a little bit towards the heat. The heat might be on a little bit. I'm actually trying to like finish warming up before I get out of the car, because if I step out right now and there's a breeze, I'll freeze again. How ridiculous. I'm going to walk in just carrying the coffee and ask my boyfriend to come and get the groceries from Winco. I'll show you the tile really quick, though. There's the tile. It doesn't look nearly as heavy as it is. but it was actually very heavy. I took it to my trunk one stack at a time. Like, that's a stack right there with like 5 tiles in it, maybe 6. And that was too much. I should have done like 3 tiles at a time. And there's what I bought at Winco that led to me nearly fainting. Carne asada. Which is very thinly sliced beef. And I also bought this. This is for my cats because it's farmed fish, and I don't usually eat farmed fish, but they sell these fish scrap pieces that actually have a lot of meat on them. See, it was 77 cents. My cats are gonna love that. My family might even eat a few of these little pieces of meat. There's a really good salmon steak right there. I just avoid eating farmed fish myself, not just because of the dye they feed it, but because its diet is mostly corn, which I'm allergic to. And I know that this might be corn-fed beef, but there's something about corn-fed fish that's different than corn-fed beef. If I eat corn-fed beef, I don't have an allergic reaction, but if I eat farmed fish, I do have a reaction right away. Maybe it's because its body is smaller and more of the protein ends up in the meat, I don't know. Or maybe it's because I'm allergic to the dye as well. Either way, I'm not going to be eating that fish. I'm realizing as I film this video that I sound like really faint and out of breath. And that's because I am. I can't talk as loudly as I normally do because I start to feel like my heart is racing and I'm getting out of breath. Just if I try to talk at a normal volume. We're cooking burgers over the fire again. We're grilling over the fire because, first of all, we like doing it. And second of all, we're just tired of cooking in my partial kitchen.
Number 3, we got a bunch of wood.
My new oven is being delivered on Tuesday, but they may not be able to bring it into my house because the plumber will be in the middle of ripping out and replacing my bathroom. So I don't want my new oven getting covered in construction dust. They will at least be able to remove the old oven. Maybe they could leave the new one on the porch for a few days. Anyway, right after the bathroom is done, the kitchen will be done next. We will be turning this area of the yard into a garden.
Give me a light. Give me a light, Mommy. We're going to find a wall with a feather tent, Mommy. We're going to find a wall with a feather tent.
Eugene is helping me dig holes. He thinks he's going to find a treasure chest.
I'll go find a wall
We're actually trying to plant these plants.
I'll go find a wall with a feather tent.
Okay, Eugene. Why don't you dig a hole and look for a treasure chest? We're getting smoked out a little bit from the cooking over the fire.
It's going to get big.
But we have planted a cabbage. And yes, it's going to get big.
Ant! Ah!
There's not ants, there are other kinds of bugs.
Oh, yeah.
They're bugs.
They're going to be
Let's
nice.
get out of here, it's too smoky.
They're tended by flatter. They're tended by flatter, Mommy.
Not Slasher.
No.
Are you sure it's not Shredder?
It is.
It's Shredder.
Yeah.
He isn't Slasher, he's the Shredder.
Yeah.
Can the Ninja Turtles hear you?
They don't, see? They don't. We need your help there, Mommy.
Man,
Oh, man.
need our help.
Yeah, need your help.
Ninja Turtles are in trouble. We gotta help the superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't hear us on the walkie-talkie.
Hey, I hear that sound. I hear that sound,
Man,
Mommy.
we got a bunch of cultists here.
Tell me for my walkie-talkie.
Will you go get those eggplant now?
That phone.
Yeah.
That tell me for my walkie-talkie. But how? It tell me for my walkie-talkie.
Maybe it's the Ninja Turtles. Why don't you see if you can hear them now?
No,
No.
they can't hear me.
I bought this for the cats. This one was 71 cents, and this one was 77 cents.
Looks good.
They're salmon scrap pieces.
So I shouldn't salt it or pepper it?
No, just grill it plain.
This looks like some good salmon.
It is farm salmon though.
It's done.
That looks really delicious actually.
It really does.